Welcome back to the program. And once again, we've talked about this quite a bit. The Oh-Penn Manufacturing Collaborative, industryneedsyou.com, their website. And this morning we're talking with Matt Joing, right? Okay. I had a run going through my head there. Matt is the plant manager at Butech Bliss. Now, where's that located, Matt?
That's right south of downtown Salem, Ohio.
And a little bit about what you guys do.
Sure. At Butech, we're part of the steel industry. We make large, heavy equipment that pretty much handles steel coils. So our big customers are steel mills, steel service centers around the country. We also supply North America, Mexico, Canada, and even Europe.
And one of the fascinating things in doing all these shows, no matter who we've talked to, whether it was, the folks from Easy Flow or KTSDI, it's amazing what's going on out there, huh?
Sure.
I mean, you guys employ how many people?
Just over 250.
Yeah. I mean, you wouldn't.
Yeah, people don't really see that. They think manufacturing's kind of dead in the area, and it's not true. Sure, the big manufacturers that might employ thousands, very high volume type work, maybe aren't around so much anymore. Mm-hmm. But the smaller companies and companies that can produce, I guess, more custom products that require more skill, they're definitely still around. Right.
So then the people who work for you, what kind of jobs do they do?
Right. Again, as I mentioned, it's high skill type jobs for the most part.
Right.
In manufacturing, we have about 150 employees. So we go. Our major departments are fabrication, or that's heavy welding, and then do our machine shop, which is over 50 employees doing machining. Again, high precision type machining, and then machine assemblers that build this large equipment. And then to support that, we've got an engineering department of about 50 engineers, electrical and mechanical engineers, design engineers. So these guys are sitting at CAD stations doing very high-tech work, developing and designing these products for us. And then a sales group that's over 30 that sells, and really they're not, they're very technical. They're sales engineers. They have to develop proposals. So it's all, most of it pretty much all
they're not knocking
jobs.
On doors is what you're telling me, right?
The encyclopedia salesman knocking on the doors. They're working with the customers to develop technical specifications and try to sculpt a proposal for somebody that might be for a multi-million-dollar project.
One of the things that I got so far from all these shows, Matt, personally, is it seems to me that the potential out there and your growth out there is endless. Is that kind of what you see too?
Sure. I don't know. Endless might be.
But yeah.
But sure, there's a lot of growth there.
The future looks good.
The future looks very good. We started as a small company. It was a 4-person operation when the owner started it 30 years ago.
Are you serious?
I'm serious. Started in just a one office, one little shop, had very little manufacturing, had one idea to make a better product. It was called a scrap chopper, chopped up steel.
Yeah.
But kind of built a better mousetrap and started selling more, and then just kind of expanded that from there. And we've grown, start expanding into other adjacent industries, products that, we feel we can do a good job custom building this equipant. And we've grown from, four employees to over 250.
It's really tough because my dad was an Ohio Works guy, machinist, and
Mm-hmm.
You had Universal Rundle and Rockwell over here, Sheet and Tube all over our way, and all that. It's tough to get out of the shadows of the smokestacks, isn't it? It really is for the most part, huh?
Sure. Mm-hmm.
But we're past that, aren't we?
I think we are. And that was a tough transition where you had these.
It was so good for so long in built cities.
You could just come out of high school, didn't have to have any training, any skills. You just walk in the door and get a good job, a lot of times union job, making good money.
All you had to do was fill out an application.
Right, and you were there. So it's not that simple anymore. It's challenging. That the jobs that are available today, they're still good jobs, but it's you're not going to be able to walk in and just fill an application out of high school and just walk into these jobs. You have to have the skills necessary. So that's the challenge we've found is, sure, there's even less of these manufacturing jobs, but because the skills that are required, it's not easy to find the right people to fill these.
And one of the things in talking to all you guys throughout the course of time here is the one profession that seems to really have changed. I mean, you just can't walk in and do it anymore is welding, huh?
Yeah, sure. You think welding, well, that's, how hard can that be?
Yeah. I mean, if you like that stuff and you're good with your hand, you got a job. That's not the case anymore, is it?
No. It's we struggle to find the right welders, guys that can do. We're doing very heavy fabrications, very large weldments. So even that is difficult. You're working on the same piece for days at a time, and these have to be right. You can't make small mistakes because this is a large, heavy piece of equipment handling tens of thousands of tons of force. You can't make mistakes. You have to do it right. Even the precision, you've got to know how to measure these parts, get them aligned correctly so that you've got a good quality product at the end of the day.
So the type of young people you're looking for?
Well, really, ones that are both, I guess, have an interest in, are mechanically inclined, but then have that background of technical background. So coming out of, usually we look for guys that are coming out of the Career Center that I guess aren't there. You get some kids go to a Career Center not sure what they're going to do with their career.
Yeah.
And even at the end of high school,
that's a great point.
They're not sure at all. And this is sort of a hard point to make. There's a lot of jobs out there that are the minimum wage jobs where someone can go into retail or go into fast food and that's but we're looking for the guys that
want a career,
are interested in a career, and are interested in manufacturing. A lot of guys that work with their hands, work on their cars. That's really what they have kind of a passion for that, and they focus in school on really learning that and focusing on getting some technical, really the technical education that's provided there. They really go all for it, and they come out and they really want to work for us. They're not just, again, showing up, well, I worked at Taco Bell yesterday, let me try Butech. That's not. That's
nothing against anybody working for Taco Bell, but I know where you're going with this. So, how valuable then can be in working with some of the trades is getting these young people in through internships? How valuable can that be?
Right, that's can be a key step.
Do you guys do a lot of that?
Yes,
Matt?
we do. We've actually started that 3 years ago when we joined the Oh-Penn Collaborative as part of the Mahoning Valley Manufacturers Coalition. We started with a couple interns, and these were actually kids out who just finished their junior year in high school. So these were in a machining program at the Mahoning County Career Center.
Okay.
And they really want to see what a real machining career was like. This is great for the kids because they really get to get into a real machine shop, real manufacturing shop, and see what the job is. And then on Butech's end, we get to see what that employee's all about. We get to kind of do a test run for that employee, get 8 weeks, 12 weeks with them to really get a feel for what they can do, who they are. And then when they go back to school, typically what's happened is we've found a good fit with that employee and we've made them a job offer then out of high school.
That's incredible.
Not everybody. There's some some have gone through and said, you know what? Nah, I don't see doing this for the rest of my life or the next 10 years. So you know what? I might try something else. But getting them that real work experience, you can only learn so much. Sure, at the career centers they have some equipment and they show the guys how to run a lathe or a mill, but that's not really showing them what work is all about.
Mm-hmm.
Being able to get up and get into work at 6 a.m. every day and put in your 8 hours, and sometimes it's really interesting work, and other days, you're doing something that's not as interesting. You gotta see the whole aspects of the job, and that really, once we get guys then full time, we feel much better that they know what they're getting into, and we know what we've got in that employee.
Now, I would think, too, the guys that are engineers, we're looking at advanced degree folks here, right?
Yes.
Clearly, correct?
Yes. So the engineers, and we work a lot. We do the same thing. Engineering interns. So we do that with Youngstown State.
I was just going to say, which one of the best engineering
Yes,
programs in the country?
Definitely. So we've had interns well before, 3 years ago. We've been doing that for many, many years, getting interns over the summer and using that as a way to give them experience and find the right engineers.
Well, one of the things, too, in sitting down with some of these prospective students who are interns and all that is you could sit down and talk with them and say, listen, you can do this, this, and this, and you're not going to be faced with about $50,000 in debt when you graduate either, correct?
Exactly.
I mean, that's really what the other thing that I've gotten from these programs is good opportunities as time goes on to make a pretty good buck, to raise a family in an area that's great as far as cost of living, and you're not going to crush yourself waiting and finally after 20 years have a debt paid off, right?
And here's the other, exactly right. And the other side of that, you can start right out of high school and get into a career with someone like Butech and get into entry-level work, work your way up. But there's also, you can still take that career path if you want to take it beyond the shop floor, take it beyond a machinist. There is career paths from there that can get you all the way up into engineering.
Yeah.
And you've done that by working with the company. We've got a tuition assistance program, so as you go in and take classes and get credits, you can work your way up, and if that's where you want to go with your career, you can make it to that engineering degree, and you don't have to go into that debt. And not everyone out of high school is ready to jump right into college. We've got someone who we just hired, who did excellently through Salem through their high school program in machine trades, but he wasn't ready for college. But it was perfect. He's working. He likes to work with his hands. He's on the shop floor working now, and we're planning to get him more training, get him into our apprenticeship program, and I think someday he'll be an engineer for our company.
You know what? We'll talk more about the apprenticeship program, too. That'll be coming up here in just a bit. Stay tuned. News Radio 1200 WKST.
I'm Judge Melissa Amodi, and I approve this message.
On November 3rd, the voters of Lawrence County will be electing a judge for the Court of Common Pleas. Undoubtedly, the most important criteria when selecting the best candidate is experience. After all, there is only one judge running for judge, Amodi. Only one candidate has actually sat on the bench making tough decisions to protect the citizens of Lawrence County, Amodi. And only one candidate is responsible for over 50,000 cases, Amodi.
Serving as a district judge for 15 years has prepared me well for the Court of Common Pleas.
The choice is clear. Judge Melissa Amodi is the only candidate with a proven track record as judge, and over the past 15 years has faithfully upheld the duties of her office, making Judge Amodi uniquely qualified for this position. When judicial experience counts, you can count on Judge Melissa Amodi for the Court of Common Pleas. Experience you'll only get from the only judge running.
Thank you for your trust and your vote on November 3rd.
Authorized and paid for by the committee to elect a Amodi judge.
Matt Joing with us this morning. Matt is the plant manager at Butech Bliss in Salem. Apprenticeships. What can you tell our listeners about that, what you guys do?
Sure. We've had an apprenticeship program for probably over 15 years. And really, just to kind of give everyone an idea what an apprenticeship is, it's a way for someone to get into our company, and we look for someone with some initial skills, but really it's a program that combines work-based learning, learning while you work, learning from a journeyman, a journey person, which is someone who has gone through an apprenticeship program who's a very high-skilled in our case, machinist or machine assembler. And an apprentice would go through 4 years, typically, of working at our shop, learning, and then also going to school part-time at night and getting an educational background in the trade. So understanding not just from the shop floor perspective, but getting advanced training and education.
Now, where would they get that from?
Well, it's been mostly the career centers have done that. One of the things that Butech has done because we actually were having challenges keeping our apprenticeship program going because schools, less and less employers were offering apprenticeships.
Gotcha.
And so less and less schools offered the courses. So we ended up just a few years ago partnering with an organization that does online education. So at least for some students, we're able to get them the education they need going through online training. Now, what we're working towards going forward, and this ties in the Oh-Penn Collaborative, we've been awarded a grant from the federal government. There were only 20 or 30 grants awarded across the nation to improve apprenticeships in this country. With manufacturing, again, manufacturing needs high-skilled employees, and there's a gap there. Apprenticeship is one of the key ways that can close that gap. As much as we'd like to have someone go to a trade school and go to a year of education and plop down on our shop floor and be an expert, that's not realistic. The apprenticeship is a way to show a young person, hey, here's a path for you. Here's how you can become an experienced machinist, and here's how you can earn high wages through this 4-year program. It's a commitment from their end, and then it's also a commitment from our side. So they know, hey, I'm in this. I'm not going to get laid off next month. I'm in this program, and they're training me to be a journeyman machinist.
Yeah.
So we found it to be a good program. It's a lot of work on both sides, but in the end, you get a person who's got the experience, got the skills you need, and they've got a commitment to your company.
IndustryNeedsYou.com. Great resource, isn't it?
Sure. Yes. So you can learn all about that. IndustryNeedsYou.com was developed by the Oh-Penn Collaborative, and someone who's interested in any of these programs, a young kid in high school or even an adult who's in another field but who really thinks that manufacturing might be a good career for them, please go to that website. There's all sorts of resources to learn about. All sorts of programs are available, apprenticeships being one of them.
And what's been the main, you think, Matt, in your experience with this Oh-Penn Collaborative, what has been the best experience out of this so far? I mean, I know it's relatively still in the infant stages as we really look at it, but what do you see as some of the major benefits?
Right. Clearly, it's manufacturers working together instead of and even manufacturers working together, the education providers working together, and the workforce development, the government working together. Before I jumped into this, I didn't see a lot of activity, and it was little pockets, and people seem to be pulling in different directions. Getting this group together, all those groups, including manufacturing, which a lot of it were competitors.
Right.
So, you talked to Brian Benyo. In a lot of ways, we're competitors, but we're working hand in hand in this because it's important for us to survive. So we have to set aside that, hey, we're competitors in certain ways, and say this is what's best in the long run for all of us. And so just being able to set that aside and work together, everyone working together towards a common goal of developing the workforce we need in the Valley.
But I think, like Brian said, too, and you mentioned earlier, too, that doesn't happen if you don't have the career centers with the curriculum that you guys need, right?
Yes, correct.
I mean, they've got to be on board with it, too.
They do, and they have gotten on board. So we've seen that with the Columbiana, or in the Ohio side, Columbiana Career Center, Mahoning Career Center, and Trumbull Career Center have really been just as much of a partner in all this.
Mm-hmm. Which, I mean, you have to have, don't you?
Yes. Those are that's your core that's going to develop those skilled employees. I have to mention Eastern Gateway Community College, which is something that is I think getting more important. Instead of just the high school type training and even some short-term adult classes, getting that community college experience where you can get guys in and guys and gals to do a 2-year program. And this industry is advancing. In 20 years, it's not going to be just you can come out of high school with some basics. You're going to probably need a 2-year associate's degree.
So parents who are listening this morning, how can they get more information? Because, of course, we mentioned earlier don't have to get thousands and thousands of college debt either. Probably perk their ears a little bit.
Yes.
Matt, how can they find out more information about all this, and especially what you guys do too?
Right. Well, you mentioned it. The Industry Needs You website is really the best source for information. Go there first. Butech, we're at www.butechbliss.com. You can learn more about our company. We've got, I think, a job posting up there now for welders. We're hiring welders again. And we go up and down, but right now that's a focus. We've got a lot of work coming. So industryneedsyou.com or check out our website.
That's great. Nice meeting you.
Okay. Sure.
Thanks
Good
for
to meet
coming
you
on.
too.
All right. Very good. We'll wrap it up. Coming up next, News Radio 1200 WKST.